Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Nick Tan Chats, my magic and mostly mentalism review show. My name is Nick Tan, and on today's episode, I'll be chatting about a deck of playing cards. Alright, so this is a deck review for the Night Flight Elite by S.Teov Dela. So hi again guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for showing up, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for spending some time with me today. So if you have been following my channel for some time, you will notice the new introduction video to the episode. Alright, that was actually done up by a subscriber to my channel from Korea actually. So he goes by the name of, I hope I say this right, Ju Ho Young. So thank you so much. He just did it as a kind of a gift. It was a really strange thing because I kind of was thinking in my mind about what I could do for the channel, and one of the things that crossed my mind was to do a new introduction video. And I'm not a video editing guy. I know nothing about this sort of thing. So when he sent these images and the video to me, I was just kind of really pleasantly surprised. Right? So 주호영 씨, 영상 감사합니다. 너무 좋아요. Alright, so on today's episode, I don't really have, anything to review. I've got stuff that should be arriving from the 1914 and also Minehouse. So I thought, in the spirit of trying to keep things, moving, right, on this channel, I thought, I'd dig out something just to talk about, today. And this is for the Night Flight Elite, alright, the V3 Elites that is put up by S.Teov Dela. Alright, so what is this deck of cards? Well, it is a marked deck, okay, and if you've been following my channel for some time as well, you will know that I've often mentioned, that I really love marked decks, and I use them, all the time as kind of standalone pieces, or I just use them to kind of enhance, all right, existing routines, because many times, with marked decks, right, you can kind of improve, or kind of, make things look fairer. And so, marked decks to me are really an invaluable tool when performing. So for my own professional work, I do use a mix of different kinds of decks, different kinds of marked decks. For close-up work, I do like the Night Flights. Okay, so I have been using this for some time now, and I don't really get to perform close-up magic that much anymore, and if I do, perform close-up, it's usually just set at a table, with a close-up mat, and people just sit around and just join me at a table, just outside of the ballroom, pre-event kind of settings, right? For stage work, I do have a routine that I perform from time to time that is kind of like a tossed-out deck routine, all right? And for that effect, I use the Code, all right, by Andy Nyman. In that effect, three people in the audience stand, they each think of playing cards, and then you name all the cards and they sit down one at a time. And of course, there are many other marked decks that I have, in my collection, from Phoenix, from Penguin as well, to name a few. But these are currently the two that I use most often. So S.Teov actually sent two of these decks over to me, all right, some time ago, and I've been using them, ever since then, right? And since I don't perform that much close-up, they've lasted quite long, all right? But before that, I actually bought, I think the first version, this is actually the Night Flight V1. This is actually a deck that is made of PVC, all right? So they are actually plastic cards, so these I think will last forever. The system that is used is pretty much the same, all right? It's just that this is made of plastic. For mind reading routines, where you kind of use the marks, as they are, I think this works fine. It's perfect. But if you're the kind of performer that likes to handle cards a little bit more, right, to do certain sleights and stuff, I have found this version, all right, the Elites, all right, the V3 Elites, to be more suited to that work. So let's talk about the deck. Well, first of all, I think I'll talk about the card case. All right, so the card case has got certain things going on for it. Well, first of all, in the original version, there's the huge text in the front, right? It says Night Flight, which, some people were kind of, complaining about, I suppose, because, they don't want the text to be there, right? So S.Teov has taken that off from the front of this current box, okay, it is still seen on the lip, okay, of the box. All right, it says there just Night Flight Deck Elite, you know, but I don't think it is as, you know, conspicuous as, you know, having it written on the front, right, in bold. Well, the box has got some reveals, I think, that has been built into it. You know, at the bottom of the box, you will have a 10 of spades reveal, okay, and also you've got a little crib sheet, okay, for a magic square. On the front, you've got 1089, okay, so if you know how to use that, it is there for you to use. And then there's another kind of playing card reveal, I think, on the two little flaps. If you look over here, you'll see two diamonds over there, so that can be a reveal for the two of diamonds as well. So those are some of the features that are available on the card case itself. I mean, for me, I don't use the reveals, you know, on the card box. For me, it's all about the deck itself. Okay, so let's talk about the deck of cards. You will receive, you know, a standard 52 card deck. In addition to that, you will also get two jokers. Okay, so that's two jokers, an additional 10 of spades. All right, so this is a duplicate 10 of spades, which I will discuss in a short while. And on top of those three extra cards, you also receive a DB as well. So I'm just going to set the DB aside for the time being and talk about some of the other features that are available on the cards themselves. All right, so on one of the jokers, all right, they look pretty much the same. However, on one of them, you will have a 3 of diamonds reveal. I'm not sure if that focuses, but on the front over there, there'll be a little 3 of diamonds. Okay, so you could use that to reveal a playing card. And also, there is another card reveal on the Queen of Spades as well. So over here, you can see that the Queen is holding on to the Ace of Hearts. Now, I have used this to perform, you know, a really simple and streamlined version of the Gypsy Queen, all right, by R.C. Wind. Okay, so it's a really streamed down version. Okay, well, you do, I mean, if you know how to perform the effect using this, then, I mean, I'm sure you guys can figure it out, but it's a really streamed down version. Still plays really well, still plays strongly. So it's great to have this reveal on the Queen of Spades. So I mentioned that there is an additional 10 of spades, all right? So this is a duplicate of the other 10 of spades in this deck. Now, what I like about this is, well, first of all, I don't think I perform you know, any routines using a duplicate card, but you could, you know, because you have an extra one with your deck. But the back design, okay, of which I'll just flash briefly, well, it enables the card to be used as a key. So for example, well, if the 10 is kind of lost in the middle and you spread it this way, it's really easy for you to locate it. Okay, now this feature is something that I really like. Okay, and I use it to perform, well, it's a really strong piece, I think, really fair looking, and that is published in an ebook by Pete McCabe. All right, I think it's called the PM Card Marking System. So that routine is really one of my favorites. You know, really fair. A spectator cuts to a card, they look at it. You know, they can cut the cards as many times as they like. You don't even turn the cards face up. You know, you spread the cards face down, close up the spread, place the deck aside, and immediately you have the information. So it's a really fair routine. If you do have that ebook, do look it up. Oh yes, so speaking of back designs that can be used as a key, right, a key card, the Joker that has the 3 of diamonds reveal can also be used in a similar fashion. However, I much prefer the 10 because this is more, well, it's quicker, it's more obvious to you, okay, if you know what to look for. This can still be used, you know, well, but it's more difficult to spot, you know, in the heat of the moment. Can still be done, but you know, I'm not a young guy, so my eyes are also not as great as they used to be, okay? But the Joker can also be used as a face-down key. So I think if you're new to the Night Flight deck, you know, you would like to find out how are the marks, right? And what other kind of features are available, you know, on the back. So I think, well, first of all, it's a one-way back design, which it's a feature that I don't use. You know, I've never really found a use for that, okay? But it's there if you like it. And the cards are also marked for red, black. Okay, so even without looking at the identity of the card, you know, you can really quickly just deal through and kind of separate the cards out depending on, you know, certain things. All right, so you can kind of separate out the reds from the blacks. All right, so there's a mark for that. And then of course there is the main marking system. Now, the marking system for the night flights are really quite good, especially for people with, you know, bad eyesight. I think, like for me, right? I mean, I'm not as good as I used to be, you know, in spotting marks and stuff. So the night flight gives you the ability to really quickly, okay, look and, you know, identify a card. So for example, if you were to just randomly cut the cards like that, you just have to look down, that's it, and you know that this is the 6 of clubs. Yeah. So some people have commented, you know, that the marks, okay, the marking system on the night flights are quite blatant, you know, and well, I do kind of agree to a certain extent. I mean, I spotted them almost immediately, you know, when I first encountered this particular marking system, but I have not been caught yet, okay? Well, I think it's all about the way you handle the deck, you know, and the kinds of effects that you perform as well, you know, with a marked deck, right? Because, well, if you were to perform a routine such as, you know, shuffle up the cards, deal one card face down, they deal it face down, and then you say, this is the King of Diamonds. There we go, King of Diamonds. One more, you know, and if you keep doing that sort of thing, obviously the method is you're using a marked deck, right? So I think it depends on the confidence at which you use the deck, and also the kinds of routines that you use the deck for. Okay, so I hardly ever use the mark to just blatantly identify, you know, a playing card, right? What I tend to do, the structure with which I like to work with, is I get the information really early. So, you know, you can have a card selected. Immediately you know it's the Queen of Clubs. From there, you can build it into something else, you know, and kind of delay the reveal, you know, and then you can make the rest of the routine really look really hands-off and really fair as well. So yes, you know, I much prefer, you know, subtle handlings of marked decks, right? A favorite of mine in a close-up situation is to, you know, spread the cards face down, slightly turn away and tell them, you know, just pull one card slightly forward, right? And then you kind of keep track of them at the corner of your eye. When they have done that, once you've seen that they have pulled the card out, turn around to kind of collect the spread back, and then say, you know what, just place it somewhere else, place it into the card box, you know, just place it there. And then from there, you are just kind of turned away the entire time, you know. So that kind of handling, you know, and I think that is more subtle, because once you have the info, then you can do other things with the information. So I'm not really sure how to do a deck review. This is my first episode doing a deck review, but another effect that, well, I like to perform is a spectator as mind reader effect. You know, I think it's often credited to Ted Leslie. You know, that's another effect that plays really well, and I do have my own kind of little subtleties and you know, handling tips to kind of strengthen the reveal and to kind of distance the method from the actual effect. But yeah, you know, this is a great marked deck, you know, really soft, handles really well as well, and that's the reason why, you know, I've been using it for quite some time now. So I was just thinking about what are other things that I could tell you about, and well, these are the aces. You know, I think, you know, in deck reviews, people, you know, show aces as well. So these are what they look like. All right, the spade, hearts, clubs, and the diamonds. And as for the picture cards, well, the designs, well, look traditional, you know, and yet slightly different as well. Okay, so you can see that the kings look a little bit, well, cartoonish, I suppose, you know, but they still do look like kings, something that people all will recognize. But yeah, you know, that's all I have to say pretty much about the Night Flight deck. You know, this is my first deck review. I'm not really sure how to go about it, how to structure it as well, but I do hope you found some of the information useful on this episode. So that's it. That is the Night Flight deck, currently my marked deck of choice. Okay, if you'd like to pick up some of these Night Flights for yourselves, I do believe they are available at any of your favorite Magic dealers, or please do check out Steve Dela's link in the description box down below. But as always, guys, thanks so much for watching today's episode. I do hope you got something out of it as well. Till the next episode, do take care of yourselves, have fun with your magic and your mentalism, and I will see you on a future episode of Nique Chats.